Kelly with kellyscards.ca, and welcome to this 5th card in my everyday card kit, number 13. So this is the last card in this kit, and I really love this card. I have made several of these cards and I really love them, and I wanted to include it in this card kit. So to get started, there is a lot of things going on in this card. I just wanted to talk about what I did here. Basically, I inked it up with some of this Distress ink oxide and of the peacock feathers color, and just gave a nice tint of that color around the end, and that is going to be what we're going to build on in this card. So we'll put the card base aside, and you'll see a number of strips. We're going to put the strips down first, and I've just basically picked out and arranged these pieces here, and they're going to sit like this. So we've got kind of the blacky ones here, the lighter one in the middle, and then the other ones with the other colors, kind of the taupey brown, taupey gray type color on the ends. And I've cut these strips. I love using strips. I've talked about this in a lot of my other videos, how I like to use strips. It's really good to help us use up literally all the scraps of papers that we have and be able to make a use for them. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, on all of these strips, you're going to want to ink it up with a brown ink. I have used this one here, the Vintage Photo, the Distress ink, and I have actually already inked all of my strips. The other thing you can do is you can ink up your tabs, and as you can see there, I have inked them up. You can tell the ink all the way around, and that just helps it stand out, makes it a little bit more nice with the dual tones there. So once you have everything inked up, we can start putting things together. And when you build a card like this, you want to make sure that your strips are nice and straight and nice and even. So I'm going to start with the one on the end, and I'm just going to put some tape runner here on this strip. This is a T-square ruler. I'm just going to use it just to make sure that I get this first strip on here nice and straight. We're going to want to leave a little bit. It's basically, I have made it so that there will be a little gap around the edge, and I'm just going to put this one in here. And once I've got it in there, I can just make sure it's all lined up. And then what I'm going to do is just bring it in here, and once I place all the other pieces, I'm just going to make sure that it is going to be nice and straight, and the strips are going to end up on the other side where we want them to. And I'm going to do this now before I start sticking them all down, and if I get to the other side and they're not in the right place, then I'll be kind of stuck. So that looks perfect. So now that's all lined up, I can put this one down. I'll just use my bone folder there. Now the next strip I put down, I'm just going to make sure it snugs up right to this other strip we just put down. And as you can see, we're covering up this white section here. Really the only thing we are going to see is that peacock feathers color around the outside. And of course that was done on purpose so that we would get that more color tones in for our butterfly images that are coming. That will go on there. And next, I love this strip here with these words. I really like using this as backgrounds, is these papers with the words on them. I really like how that looks. And again, I'm just going to snug this up to the other strips. And going into this next one, really like this strip with the gold on it. Just adds a little bit of flashiness, and it looks good with the vintage. And the last strip here. And we'll get this lined up, and then this section will be done on this card. And again, that was pretty close to being perfect there, I think. And now that that is all together, you can see how nice that looks. It creates a beautiful background. And again, I like to choose colors that are similar but a little bit different. So you can see in here we've got this, you know, lighter colored one, and then this is black, and this is pretty much black, and then we've got different tones here, and it just it brings a little bit more richness into the card and a little bit of variance. So now that we've got that, we can attach this to our black card base. And we're using one of these heavier card bases again, because again, there's a lot of things on this card. So we just want to give it a little bit more stability. And we'll get this put on here, and we'll start to see this card take shape. There we go, and we'll open this up. And I really love how this is going to look on this black card base. I've used some of these cards on craft as well, I've done, and I think I like it better on the black. I think it just helps, especially the black strips stand out, and then all your black accents just look a little bit nicer. So now our main part of our card is done, and we're just going to put it aside, and we're going to bring these beautiful tags. These are gorgeous, and I have taken some photoshopping to some of these to make them basically a little brighter or a little bit different colors. So we're going to have the both teal butterflies in the middle, and then we're going to have these other ones, the one with the purple and the one with the blue, on the opposite side, and that will look really nice. And you see, that's why I pulled this idea out to make this that teal color to match those butterflies. So you're going to find 3 little mats like this, and I've just shown you what I've done with the first one. I've basically, this is what we're going to do. We're going to layer it up like this, and to show you how I did that nicely for the angle to work perfectly, I'm going to take this tag and I'm just going to put it up in that corner, so you see it's not overhanging at all, and I'm going to use that as a guide on to where to cut. So now you can see that that is perfect. I'm just going to bring it to the other side now, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And now that is pretty much perfect. So we just have to do that again to all 3 of them. And once that's done, we can put these up on these little mats. And anything like this with these lighter colors, I like to back onto whatever that card base color is. So in this case, we're using the black card base. So you can just see how that helps that stand out, especially from a background like this. It just helps pull it from the background. So now I'm going to start attaching these little tags, and we'll just get this put on this little mat, and then we can do the other 2. And you want to just leave an even amount of space around the whole piece. Probably would look the nicest. And you just want to make sure it's nice and straight. So I've got that one on there, and I'm just going to do the other 2 now. And I love these tags. They're so beautiful with these butterflies. And I love the ability to be able to use the Photoshop or photo editors and to basically change the color. So if I was doing a red card, I could try to Photoshop those red, and I think that it just opens up for creating all kinds of different things if you can change the colors. So now I've got that one on there. And I can bring all of it back in now. For this card, if you wanted to use a sentiment, you definitely could on this card. I really want to just let the card kind of speak for itself, these images, so I'm not going to put a sentiment on here. But you can use one from the samples. There's especially these black label ones would look really nice, the congratulations, the wonderful birthday. This one here I kind of customized just for this card. Let your dreams take flight. I think it works really nice with the butterflies. So feel free, if you want to add a sentiment, now you can put a sentiment and kind of decide where you want it. Probably, you know, in a corner somewhere, or you could even lay it across somehow. just going off of the tags. And we're going to flip these over, and I am going to use some foam. Now you can use pop dots if you want. I'm going to use some of this Michael's foam, and basically what I do is I just hold it over so that the image is sticking out over the foam, and I'll just cut around the tag so that I have a good amount of placement. And as you can see, that pretty much worked out perfect to get that foam on there. And I'm just going to cut 2 more here. If you're using pop dots, you can just start sticking them on the back of the tags now. So there's another one I've got, and I will just do a 3rd now. And I really like this foam. In fact, you could do 2 layers of foam if you wanted, and that would really help these tags stand out. So I'm just going to adhere them now with the tape runner. I find wet glue doesn't really work well with the foam, but I do like the tape runner. And I also find that the score tape doesn't really work well, so I'm sticking with the tape runner here for now. And I'll just get that piece on. You just want to make sure there's no foam or foam dots sticking out from in behind. And my last foam here. And there, that will be raised up, and I just think that will add a little bit of dimension, and it will look really nice too. So now I'm going to place these fairly centered and like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 2 outer ones down first, and then we'll come back and we will do the middle one just to help kind of centerize it. And I will try to use my T-squared ruler here just to help me out. So I'm going to get this tape runner put pretty well all over the back here. And let's see, where do we want this to sit? Probably there would be about right. And I'm just going to bring this in now, and I'm going to get it to make sure that it's sitting nice and straight. I'm just going to pull the ruler away here and make sure that that spacing is good. I think it needs to go up just a little bit more. And I just need to straighten it a little bit. You just have to wiggle it, and I think that looks good. And now we'll do the other outside. As long as they're evenly spaced, it's going to look right. So now I'm going to just flip my ruler here, and I'm going to let, it's actually resting on that foam piece here. We're going to pull that one out, and I'm just going to bring this up over here. We want the same amount of space from the end as this one. I'm going to pull that away, and I'm just going to take a peek. I think this actually has to come down just a smidge. Okay, I think that's nice now. And now this one that's going to go in the center, we'll put the adhesive on this last. And again, I'm going to bring my ruler and I'm going to try to get it right under where that black edge of that mat is, and then we can just eyeball this to see if we can get it. I know it's a little bit more flashy under that gold, but we're going to just try to make it so that it's nice and centered. We can always fix it. Let's see, how does that look? The tag just has to go up a smidge. And I actually think that looks really good there. Okay, that's on there now, and I think the placement actually is really good. I'm just going to give this just a little push down. I just don't want to make sure that nothing falls off, and that is now on there. As I was mentioning about the sentiment, you could lay it across the bottom and use some pop dots or more foam basically to just hold it up just where it's coming off. That might look nice as well. So now we're just going to accent these little holes up here. You can leave it as is, but you will find 3 bling in your kit, and you can basically just pull it off of the plastic there, and you can place them on top of that little hole. And if you don't like it, you can always take it off. I think I like it as an accent. It just adds a little bit more black to this card, and it just kind of adds another accent. So we're going to use this, and for once I'm not just putting them into the corner. This gives a little bit variance of what to do with bling. You can use them as accents like this. And I really, really love this card. It is absolutely beautiful. And again, if you have lots of scraps in your craft rooms, you can basically go through them and see what might work together and basically assemble a card much like this. So let's just do the inside now. I'm gonna just grab this white mat. And just remember, if you want to put a sentiment on the front, that's fine. If you don't, you can always write something on the inside. So there, that is in there now. That will finish up this card. Really, really love the colors in this card. Love this idea with the strips. You can just go through your craft rooms and look at some of the scraps you have and how easy you can build a really beautiful background. And then you just need some images to finish up the card. So I hope you enjoyed this last card in my everyday card kit number 13. You can check me out on my website at kellyscards.ca. You can subscribe not only here but to my main channel, which is all linked below, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.